Hello there. Today's edition of my videos is going to be a brief overview of the Linux desktop, Kubuntu's desktop. I'm going to touch on the taskbar, the desktop itself, the quick access, and the start menu, and what some of the features are. As I mentioned in my first video, I'm using this in VMware because it makes it easier to record, and because of that the window size is 640 by 480. Because of that, certain things will appear larger and you won't be able to read the whole dialog box in my videos, but when you do it on your desktop, as long as you've got a higher resolution than 640 by 480, you should have no problem reading any dialog boxes or moving around to make things work. So without further ado, we'll get started. The first thing I should also note is that when you install Kubuntu and you open up the desktop for the first time, you'll see a square right in the center here, which for some reason it disappeared on mine. And the square will say desktop folder. It's kind of a misnomer because, one, Kubuntu and other Linux distributions don't really use folders per se. They use directories and subdirectories. They use the folder icon, as you can see down below here, but it's not a folder in their parlance, in their terms. Two, it's not really your desktop. This Amarok is an audio program. If that desktop folder had been up here and I stuck this on here like that and I moved it in there, it wouldn't be in that folder. It's on my desktop, but it's not in that folder per se. That folder is right here. In the quick launch, it would be in here. As you can see, there's nothing in here, yet there's something on my desktop. And that's because Kubuntu uses layers, if you will, for that. This is on the top layer, and then below it would be that desktop folder, and below that would be anything else. So as you can see, it looks pretty much like Windows. That's why I chose Kubuntu over Ubuntu, or Xubuntu, or Edubuntu, or any of the other distributions, because the KDE, which is the shell, looks a lot like Windows. And I showed you the quick access. That's just quick access. It's like Windows Explorer. It will bring up quick access to those folders and some documents, any documents that you've opened recently or repeatedly. Next to it here is multiple desktops. As you can see, I only have that desktop, that shortcut on the one desktop, and just by clicking on the little square it takes me to the other desktops. You can create as many desktops as you want, as your memory will hold. You can name them. I named them main, email and internet, programming, and administrative. You can force programs to appear on one desktop or all the desktops if you want. To do the configuring, and this is one of those examples where the dialog won't show you everything, you go into the configure desktop, and this is where I can select how many desktops I want. I can put a different activity, or I can uncheck that. I can name the desktops. I don't remember what's down here. I can go over here and I can change the animation for when I switch desktops. The reason you don't see the cube is I don't have the comp is and arrow like effects enabled on here. Otherwise, when I clicked on the desktop, it would have turned into a cube and it would have opened up on the next desktop. So right here will be any windows that you have open will appear down here. This will be your show the desktop, kind of like minimize all windows in Windows. And similar to Windows, it will hide some of the icons. The least recently used icons, and you can click the arrow and that will bring them up. Going from right to left, we have the notifications and jobs. If you have updates are available, or if you're copying a file or something, this will change to a 1, a 2, or however many jobs you have open. And then you can click on it and access the jobs. This is your printer applet. I don't have any printers set up in here because I have Lexmark printer and it doesn't have Linux drivers. Certain printers do, certain printers don't. There's open source things like Fumatic and that try to get drivers, and Ghost Print that try to get drivers, but pretty much your best bet is check the website and then look around for drivers. Lexmarks are bad about it, HPs are good about it, Canons are good about it, but your mileage may vary. If your laptop is Bluetooth capable, then it will have this where you can configure it and you can connect to your Bluetooth devices. If you have any USB or CDs or anything like that in there, this is where you'll be able to access them. One of the many places you'll be able to access them. This is for your messages. You have Kopete, which is your instant messenger conversation, which is like, I believe, your feed reader, your social networking reader, Kmail and Quazzle. That's where if you have any new emails or anything, they'll appear there. This is your network. If you left click on it, it brings up any connections you have. If you hover over the actual connection, it'll show you the IP address and some pertinent information about it. If you left click on that, it will reset the connection. You can click on Manage Connections and that will bring up any kind of connections you have. If you have a wireless available, or if you have a mobile broadband, then you'll be able to configure those. This is just tray icon information, things like that. And I'll get more into that as we go along. So, then you have your Start menu. And in your Start menu you have your favorites, which to me is like your quick launch in Windows, because you can add and remove things from here so that you don't have to go hunting for them when you want to open something up. You have your applications, and everything is categorized in applications: graphics, internet, multimedia, office settings, system, utilities. If you install Wine, which is a emulation thing for Windows, so you can run Windows programs in Linux, certain ones, it'll appear below utilities, and you'll be able to access the quote C drive and Notepad and any programs that you've successfully installed. Then you have your computer. The first thing is it'll show you certain applications, then it'll show you certain locations and removable devices that are in there. Then you have your most recently used applications, and the resize and rotate's the only one I've used because it's the only one that had applied to get the screen down to where we're at. And I'm going to show you disk burning. I'm going to click on that, and you don't see it, but if I scroll down, there it is. It's in my favorites now. And if I want to remove it from favorites, I just right click and remove. I can add to the desktop, and there it is. So the last area is the leave area, and you have your options of log out, lock, switch user, hibernate, restart, and shut down. And with that, I'm going to do the log out, and the screen is probably going to get big because it's a different size for when I'm out. and I will let you go. My next video will be more in depth on the programs and features that are available to you in Kubuntu. And then after that I'll do more on installing and updating and adding users and that kind of thing. So thank you and have a great day.